What's up, y'all? Welcome to Life at the Confinement. Sorry that it took me a little while to drop another video. So this video is just gonna be a story of something that happened to me. My life of crime goes way back further than 17 when I caught my first adult charge. I started getting actually arrested when I was 14. Started with violations of probation and not allowing them to put the box on me, which is house arrest. For those of you that don't know what the box is, that's a street term for house arrest. And so basically this story is just going to be, it's kind of a funny story, something that happened, not all of it. I'm going to explain how I got in this predicament, but anyway, let me get into it. I was 14. I was over, me and like 4 or 5 of friends of mine were over these girls' houses, and we went to the gas station up the street to buy some blunts. We were drinking, we were all drunk. We were at the gas station, go to buy blunts. This guy in front of us had a wad of money on him. One of my unnamed friends decided that he's gonna rob this guy, so he robs him. We're chasing him around the parking lot of the gas station. They got him on the ground. I pull one of those squeegees out of the bucket, and all I end up with is the stick. I'm beating him in the head with the stick. Felt terrible about it. We go to steal his car. His girlfriend is in the vehicle, so we decide against it. We run to the females' houses, and we're in there. The helicopters are everywhere. We're fine. We chill there till the next day. I make it home. Maybe like 2 weeks later, I'm out, and I get pulled over and I get arrested for one of my violations of probation that I seem to always have. I go to Charles H. Hickey Jr. School, and I'm just detained at this time, and there's 2 different things that they have when they arrest you as a juvenile in Baltimore, and it's called detained or committed. Detained is when you're just sitting there waiting for the outcome of whatever you're sitting for, and when they commit you, they either commit you to a 30-day sentence, 6 to 9 month sentence, and 12 to 18 month sentences, and then they do have juvenile life. But anyway, I'm sitting out Hickey for, I want to say, a good 6 months. And another thing about Hickey is, and juvenile time, is that nothing that you sat prior to being committed counts for anything, any time that they give you. So I sat 6 months, and I got committed when I went to court to 6 to 9. So I basically had to do a 6 to 9 month program, and so they sent me to this placement called Riker, Baltimore. It's in Baltimore City. I can't remember the exact location, but anyway, it's a placement for what's the word I'm looking for? Bad behaved teens and kids, basically, and it's also an alternative school in the city for kids that can't stay in regular school. So one side of it was housing for kids that can't behave and are in the Department of Juvenile Services, DJS. And then the school that we went to was also, we were going to school with kids that were coming from the outside. I was there with so many friends of mine from Hickey. You meet a lot of people in these situations. I became friends with this guy named Matt from St. Mary's County. A friend of mine named Bishop that I was out Hickey with for a long time was out there with me. Just a lot of shit. Basically, just the same thing as prison. A lot of times, people that you're incarcerated with, you'll run into them later down the line, and that's just an example of that. And it's sad to say, but a lot of these people that I've met as juveniles and coming from where I'm from, A lot of them are either dead or are in prison for a very long time. Um, and I feel like the juvenile system basically trained us for that because it's the same thing, just adults. And juvenile time is way more ruthless than adult time. I don't care what anybody says. Hoppers don't give a fuck. You can't. It's not like prison where you can mind your fucking business. Juveniles are gonna bully you. They're gonna do whatever they can. They're gonna make your time miserable. And if you don't stand up for yourself, it's gonna be even worse. But anyway, I was at Rikers, Baltimore. Uh, I don't even think that I was there for a week. And me and a group of my friends have this bright idea that we're gonna leave. And the way that this place is set up, it's not very like contained. So the staff didn't really watch us. There was the building that we slept in, and then there was a walkway, probably about 30 feet, and it was a gym. And I would walk out, go to the gym, play basketball, volleyball court, and everything like that. Football, there was a skateboard in there, and there was no staff in there. The only time they came around to check is when they were doing their count. So I guess maybe every hour, every half an hour. So me and a friend of mine decide that we're gonna go ahead and run, and we're gonna go back to around my way. This kid is from St. Mary's County, so why he thought that it would be a good idea to run with me, I don't know. But I decide, and another thing about the situation, my child's mother, we were together prior to this. She had left me, and I was a child, first person I fell in love with. I was devastated when she gave me some bad news over the phone, so I was really ready to leave. It just added fuel to the fire that was already basically ignited on my own. My mom was actually supposed to bring me up some shoes and clothes and things like that because you were allowed to wear your own clothes. The only time you had to wear a uniform was in school, and they gave you that clothing to wear. So anyway, one day I decide that this is going to be the day that I'm going. I want to say it's about 7, 8 o'clock at night. I go to the gym, chilling for a couple minutes. I got to thinking, like, you know what, man, I'm probably just going to leave on my own because taking somebody from St. Mary's County that has no way, really, we're 14. There's no way that we're going to find him a way back to where he lives. So I didn't even speak to anybody. I decided I'm just going to go on my own. I'm a little bit closer to where I live than to where he lives. We have public transportation. Where I live, he doesn't. So like I said, I decided to leave on my own. It's a big-ass field behind this gym, and it's a big-ass fence at the end. And then a little side street, a little block. So just like any other normal night that I went to the gym, but this night I knew in my head that I was going. I wasn't sticking around, I'm not staying. So I go down, run through the field, jump the fence, and I get to walk in on the street in Baltimore City. Like I said, I can't really remember where it is in Baltimore City. I just knew that was far as fuck away from my house. So I hop on I'm waiting for a bus driver, and I actually think I caught the bus deeper into the city instead of heading to where I lived, and just made the process even longer. I go to hop on a bus. I tell the bus driver, listen, I don't have any money. I'm 14. I'm stuck down here. I have no clue where I'm at. I'm trying to get to the Eastern Avenue area, East Point Mall area. And he was like, man, you're heading the completely wrong direction. You have to hop off and catch the bus on the other side of the street and go that way. I didn't end up at my house probably until about 3 o'clock in the morning. Maybe a little bit before that, maybe 1 or 2. mind you, my whole family knows that I'm supposed to be locked up at this time. The way my grandmother's house was set up then, like, we always had the doors unlocked, so I could go in there and people could be sleeping and they would never know I was in there till the next morning. So I make it to my grandmother's house, and like I said, like 2 o'clock in the morning, I finally figure out how to get there. This nice lady gives me a bus pass on the bus because I had no clue where I had to go. Finally make it to my grandmother's house. I'm up. I go in my grandmother's house. My grandmother lived with my uncles and my aunt. And I go in my aunt's room, and she had a big ass bed, and there was a space in between the wall and the bed. And I was so worried about them calling the police on me, which I doubt that they would have, that I laid in between the wall and the mattress, and I pulled the blanket over me to hide where I was at. So my Aunt Michelle comes in the middle of the night. I guess she had one out or something. She goes to pull her blanket out, and she's like, "Oh my God, Nicholas, what are you doing? You're supposed to be locked up. Did you run again?" Because this is not... I have multiple stories of when I ran from placement. It was like a common thing for me. So she flips out. They don't kick me out, but she tells me I gotta get out of her room. So I go downstairs. I go to sleep. I wake up the next afternoon, and I give my boy Thomas a call, and I'm like, "What's up, Thomas? What are you doing?" "Trying to chill. I'm home." Lying my ass off that I'm officially home. Did what I had to. I'm home. He's like, "Hell yeah, man. It's good to hear from you. Come over and chill." So I go in I go in the refrigerator. My Aunt Michelle has a fifth of Pinnacle vodka, cotton candy. I pour a fucking big ass coffee cup full of it. More than half of it. I'm 14. I'm drinking the shit like it's water. Underestimating the shit. Not really knowing what I'm drinking. Calling it a chick's drink. I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling good. I walk over to Thomas's house. I'm feeling nice, but not shit-faced. I'm sitting over there with Thomas. He's like, "Hey, Nick, do you want to play Call of Duty?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, we can play Call of Duty." Fucking me up like he has for years. I think I had actually got up a few times with us chilling there, and I go and I fucking puke in his bathroom, flush the toilet, use some mouthwash or something, come back out playing the game, and something just overwhelms me. The liquor full blasted me. I'm spinning, sitting there playing the game with Thomas, and I just fucking threw up everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I had fucking 8 raviolis at the placement that I was at prior to coming there. He still gives me shit about it to this day. I know how pissed off he was about that. I feel like shit to this day about that. I was so drunk that I couldn't even clean it up, or I would have been more trouble trying to clean it up than actually being able to help him. So he basically kicked me out. I'm lucky that he doesn't own any firearms. I wouldn't be here sharing a story with y'all, because he probably would have shot me because it was that bad. But I leave out of there. I can barely walk. My grandmother lives right across the street from Thomas at this time, so I can't even say I walked. I must have stumbled over there. My mom was always calling the police on me, get me locked back up, trying to keep me out of trouble and get me back on the right fucking path. So I'm so shit-faced. I called my mom, tell her that I'm home from placement. She was so angry. They called her. The placement had called my mom, asking have they heard from me, and my mother's like, "It's y'all fucking responsibility to be keeping track of my son. There's no reason why y'all should have lost him. There's no reason why you should know where the fuck my son's at. Like, this is fucking crazy. He's there. I'm expecting him to be okay, and y'all don't know where the fuck he is. Y'all didn't realize he was gone till a day and a half later. Like, how the fuck does that happen?" So, I'm sitting at my grandmother's house. Next thing you know, here comes the police. They come pick me up. They take me back to Riker, Baltimore. I'm sitting there, and they had taken all my clothes, and the only thing that was in my room was this fucking bright-ass burgundy sweatsuit that said AWOL on it. And basically, I'm sure you know, AWOL means that you ran. So you have to wear that for a week. They didn't have me there that long. They got me out of there within probably a couple hours. The following day, they had the following day or the next day, they sent Department of Juvenile Services Transportation to come get me. I was so shit-faced. I was shit-faced days later at the placement, fucking with people. And they were just like, we're not dealing with your shit. They got me out of there and sent me back out to Hickey. And to tell you what, the judge was not happy to see me again, because I had to get evaluated and everything else to go to another place. Sorry it took me a little while to drop a video, y'all. Just like and subscribe. Appreciate y'all. This is a little something. Take care.